Chapter 2, page 56. So, our days were when children actually began attending school. For example, as Nasambu, she was already a mother of two. We call her Nasikoko. Nasikoko is a lady who have already a side. So already he had also she had also been pronounced a mother. I also been grown. In fact, I have also been pronounced a father of somebody. I was a parent for someone. I had a girlfriend from the lake by the name Anyango, who actually had came over to our place. Anyango, the daughter from the lake, realized that she was pregnant for me. She came visiting her ailing auntie, but to the contrary to her mission, she actually exited her and stretched her leg and passed by our doors. Her sheepish eyes actually noted me for some attention. She was a willing dog for the lunchtime meal. I gave her an 2 days appointment. She actually hid it and complied for the short, precise message. I was sharp also. In one shot, I actually worked all the miracles to pregnant her. Now that I needed some more time for her, I actually requested for 2-day exposure to recognize the wonders God created in the lake region. Therefore, I booked a lodging at Saramana. There I had a friend with a small house. That place was actually conducive, confined place for the women snatchers. That place was actually good for the women snatchers. For purposes he needed to take some more serious lessons, perhaps with minimal interference, that was a perfect place to spend time with your lover girl. Such a cool and calm place with no noise or something disturbance of any kind. It was a private place to hide from the eyes of the society. Everyone was welcomed for the party. I actually prepared well for the match. I ate enough migombera. Migombera are traditional herbs for sex, so that my staff remained strong. Our natural herbs that kept a man's clutch up all the time within and the rest of his good moments within its gearbox, as long as favorable condition that kept the two dogs together. It was for such condition to germinate a seed for a baby, for example, water, air, and warmth. I also asked her to take some little drink to cleanse her dirty white family planning tablets. In our 2 days private mission, I made my lifetime record that ought to have been recognized in the Guinness Book of Record. What any man ought to have done given an opportunity of such a kind. I broke her virginity and an embryo that actually conceived. Day and night, I engulfed myself on her to taste my new ripe fruit from the lake. That very day, I realized the benefit of all our rivers pouring towards the same direction, streaming towards the lake region, including our small disputed river Mayanja and Lelekwe. All the nutrients in our soil in our plants had actually been eroded, pushed, and distributed and accumulated to that one particular single point, the lake. Any small seed planted within that environment will never fail to germinate. With such good condition, it cannot fail to flourish and germinate. My few friends, spinsters who had one single chance to travel that far region, narrated his expedition. Pale Kwasumu, the Kisumu part, precisely the Migingo Islands. The island had enough nutrients that attracted Cold War between Rango leaders determined to take up the control over the land and claim the ownership. We actually end up with domestic violence. My friend Moses once stepped there and got stuck in the mud while he tried to satisfy his unquenchable thirst. We used coconuts from 70 to host him out. Washiali, who hailed from that region, also recognized the place in that ground and named his village river Lusumo, which flooded each and every any month. He asked the young pupils to be careful and observe their days. He actually bought them enough diapers for emergency and predictable floods that came each and every month for the pupils in an adolescent stage. He asked them to be alert and actually cleanse their usual normal monthly periods. Such places occasionally welcome wrangles between warring nations or perhaps persons demanding to take control, a cold war between two cocks, men, or even countries. In our country, a small boy Kibaki actually questioned the illegality of Museveni crossing the bridge and dining in the treasure that belonged to the Kenyan territory. The Mikingo Island died squarely in the Kenyan soil. I also asked the illegality of Moses dining on Anyango, who actually squarely belonged to me. She was my side chick. I held Anyango with a very high esteem. She was a gold that was never found within our environment. Her outward looks aroused a very different taste from our common delicacies. But somehow, she broke my heart. She disappointed me and I felt so disgusted with her loose character. Moses, a bow-legged, I could wrestle her down to any grass or a bush available. She also pretended, not interested. Not today, Yahweh, she actually retorted, but gave in to his strong arms. Another hypocritical idea in her mind actually dominated. For sure, if she was genuine with the refusal statement, she would have protested vehemently against the rough and the forced love affair. But she would have actually cried aloud, her voice reaching to the ear of any passerby, and she would be rescued with a good Samaritan. She would have also maybe tied her clean flowing river with enough gapons, or fenced the only fresh lake with a strong barbed wire. But she left the dam bursting its wall and enjoyed every bit of her moment beneath the short, bow-legged legs. Two fast-moving bodies colliding, a potassium reaction in the reactivity series. She found my name dangling down in the list of the reactivity series and opted for Moses with a high-speed digital clock with enough vibrations per minute. Scholars of some days named it hertz. The physics students with the ticker tape timers actually named such an object with the strong, quick vibrations within a second, 50 of them per minute. You can imagine a hungry dog at the sight of a food. Their itching hands rounded each other. I longed to meet them red-handed and fix some manner to their hyena appetite. I could not imagine the image of Anyango mourning with pleasure as her naked body bore Moses' heavy weight, corroding him everywhere. I recreated the scene in its solid detail. The creaking bed, that's the grass, fingers touching her everywhere, heavy breath merging into one, and the sigh of sweetness. Days passed before finding the hideouts. My instinct told me that they hid inside a hill. As they practiced their ritual, I would have struggled Moses with my bare hands to death. Such ladies of these days will take advantage of such a sodomy love and reach themselves. They will launch a rape case to our locals, ironically demanding for justice after being victimized with a forceful lover, yet they were also a willing dog. They will actually demand a ransom from a forceful lover, yet she actually also enjoyed each and every moment of his rough strokes, warm touches that made her forget herself, only to recover from the trauma when she received her last finishings. The last smooth touchings to her soft skin, fine finishing smoothened by the rough and sandpapers of Moses' rough hands. She was given enough and she received enough, not just once but on several occasions. I made an impromptu visit to the venue inside the bush and tried to find out the real cinema for myself, and passing by I had heard heard some shaking in the bush. That will be the two performing the rituals. Are you sure my woman was being fucked up in that bush? Curious of the event, I tiptoed and moved closer and closer. The more I moved, then the vibrations grew louder, and finally found myself deep inside the bush. They were there. My grandmother, Anyeli, stood with a bowl of porridge, breastfeeding her calf, a snake, Endemo. Never shaken with my adventure, she smiled back and wondered what I was after in that very sacred place where only people with secret missions adventure. Hey, my grandson, come over and help me feed our baby. It's harmless. It won't bite you. After she had plucked the fangs that carried the poison of the snakes, it coiled and rested nicely in her beddings, fully covered on feathers and pieces of white-colored papers of the white booklets. Those are examination papers of some of our students. In fact, some papers bear Moses' name indicated his high-performed marks. He must have scored everything but failed one or two sums. I guess he beat me in mathematics, but as for me, I was able to balance all the subjects, and thus, with a bit average, I helped in class as he followed Nasambo from behind, alternating with Nasambo, who at times would beat Moses. What interested me is the way Moses kept visiting that place without getting to know the danger laid before him. Perhaps their visit came while our Endemo, the snake, had gone for a walk and a wild hunt. Moses was lucky he must have. He also been lying on top of that very harmless reptile as they performed and made love. Anyango also warmed the reptile as it felt nice and could not retaliate with pain. Some 2 or 3 days later, something became evident. Some sours developed itching and demanding a scrub of the rough hands of Moses. The more he touched on the sours, the more he developed sweetness, and later on it became bitter. Before a small white liquid, milk, penetrating through the tube, the urethra, an awful pus had brought about a discomfort to his privacy. Sometimes urine failed to come through, settled behind the scrotum, his transformer, and thus creating more problems to the gentleman. He failed to walk. Totally, he failed to lift the legs amid heavily loaded, painful thing, very late to be treated and be encountered with our own African immune system. Something had to be done to suppress an already mature gonorrhea disease, as it is a necessity is the mother of invention. We all began to discover sexual transmission diseases that consumed our vital organs. I'm in trouble, my friend. My friend, I'm in trouble. At last he opted to speak up his ordeal. He had failed several times to protect our goal, and even for days he failed to sharp for the pitch. Holding his gold skin by his hand, he confined his suffering to me, his very close friend. He could not reveal the source of disease. But I also tried to check on his mind. You see, these women, they sleep with everyone and everything. Even dogs can sleep on them. One woman might have slept with a dog and he got infected, and then she came and slept with you. I don't care who actually gave her the disease that she has transmitted to this village. But what is important for you is to be saved, find a cure immediately, something that can finish this pain once and for all. This is strange. I've never seen this kind of disease in our village. Moses continued to suffocate. To criticize his high appetite, I thought of words to surprise his criticism and outline reasons why he deserved the fate. You see, my friend, when a hen runs away from the approach of a cock, it does not mean to escape. Rather, it runs to find some nice place to crouch, precisely in the bush where it is conducive and to let out its behinds, such a perfect position for the cock in need to perform its duty. I will wish to see a hen running this way, a cock also running the other way, escaping from the hen. You see, like this, and run away to a safer place. I said comically and tried to imitate his inability to run as he felt pain beneath and mimic his voice grown in pain. Moses continued to groan. Anyway, I never minded the kind of woman who carried that kind of disease to her village. She had poisoned my friend. I crossed over to the river Lelekwe, to the other ridge to meet Machache. He was our local herbal medicine.